What's up everybody, JJ here, and today we're going to be doing a 5-month follow-up review of the Creality SparkX i7. Now that I've had a bit more time with this printer, there's a lot of little features that I really like on this machine, and we're going to do a bit of a deep dive comparison with the Bambu A1. A lot of similarities in looks between these two machines, but there's a lot of little improvements that I really like what the SparkX i7 has done. Because I like both the hardware improvements, the software improvements, and the treatment around open source licensing of that software. So we are going to briefly cover the philosophical differences that both of these companies have. Full disclosure before we get into it, this video is sponsored by Creality. They reached out to me seeing if I wanted to make a follow-up video on this, and I do really like this machine, so I said yes. So while yes, this is a sponsored video, I do like to show you physical differences between these machines, so you're not just taking my opinion, you're seeing the physical results that I'm able to see. So let's get right into the hardware, a few of my favorite features on this machine, and how it compares to the Bambu A1. On the surface, these are very similar printers. It's easy to see where Creality got a lot of their design language, but I do feel like they've taken the Bambu A1 and improved a lot of small things. They made it a little bit larger in the X and Y axis. They've exposed the Y axis rods underneath the bed so it's easier to oil those. Here on the Bambu printer, they simply covered it all over. It's hard to tell, but it is a smaller screen on the Creality printer, but at higher resolution, so it's easier to read small text. This is my favorite hot end on any printer. It's so easy to work with. The front cover just comes straight off like that. This little dial you could change out if you wanted to customize your printer. On the bottom down here is the nozzle. That is another easy swap nozzle. The Bambu A1 really was the first one to do an easy swap nozzle like this, but this just does it really well. Large latch on the front, slightly down, and then straight out. Then the nozzle comes clear. Really easy to slide right back in and up. Latches in place. Then you can replace the silicone sock. Super quick nozzle changes. On the left here is the filament cutter, but this little dial right here, if you push it up, this pops open. Then if you reach in here, you can pull out the filament cutter. These do last a long time, but it's super easy to be able to get in there and change it out whenever that does happen. And it's all held in place with magnets. Then around on the right side is the filament extruder path. You simply pull this lever open. That's the passive drive gear on the extruder. And then inside there is the gears. And this is why this has become my go-to printer for bad or old filament. It's so easy to open up the entire filament path here. If filament breaks between it going in here and the extruder, it's really easy to pop this open and push it through either from the top or the bottom. If filament breaks between the extruder and the nozzle, it's super easy to pop this open, pop the nozzle off, and then either push from the top or push from the bottom to be able to get that bit of filament out of there. So I've been using a lot of old and brittle filament on this printer because it's just so easy to fix. Then around on the back of the printer, it's a simple panel that pulls straight off to be able to access all of the circuit board and plugs. I haven't had to do major repairs on this printer, but it's good to know that it's easy to access everything if I did need to. On the other side, we've got the Bambu Lab A1 hot end, and this used to be my favorite hot end. Pull up from the bottom to remove the front cover. I lost the original indicator dial, and this is a pumpkin one from Halloween. I love how easy it is to customize these dials. Then the nozzle down here, it is a little bit tougher to get the silicone sock off. It's a simple latch open. It's hard to do one-handed while showing it off. And then the nozzle just comes straight forward. Both of the nozzles are super easy to change on both of these printers. But the rest of the hot end here is less easy to get to. The filament cutter is here on the right, but you have to take a screw out if you need to get in there and replace the blade. The extruder drive gear is here on the left, and you can open it by pressing this down, but you have to take some screws out if you need to really get in there. So if filament breaks somewhere inside of here, it's a lot more difficult to get to everything. Similar up here, these PTFE tubes are really stuck in there, and I can't get them to ever come out. Versus on the i7, if you simply press in around these black rings, you can pull out the PTFE tubing to swap things out or clear the broken bits out of the line. So while the Bambu Lab hot end used to be my favorite, the SparkX i7 has just improved on it in a lot of ways. Now on to the CFS Lite. This I was kind of skeptical of initially, because there's no motors down here to do the retracting of the filament. As you can see, these spools in here are a little bit loose. When it finishes printing and it retracts the filament down in here, it's not going to wind up the spools to take that slack off. But so far, I haven't had any issues with it, surprisingly. I thought somehow these would cause the spools to get tangled up in some way, but at least so far, and I've used a lot of different brands of filament in here, there just haven't been any issues. I also really like that the filament path is so easy to access. The filament feeds into the machine right down here, and it comes down to the Bowden tube up here. It's so easy to pop the Bowden tube off, and then if something breaks inside there, it's really easy to push it through with a piece of filament. If filament breaks in the wrong place on the normal CFS or AMS, you have to take it apart. With the CFS Lite, I have had filament break inside the extruder, and it's always really easy to get it out, whether from the top or from the bottom. I think they improved on the idea of a simplified filament management system by putting it inside of a box while keeping the simple design. It's cheap and simple using simple extruders and not as many moving parts, but it is still enclosed to keep the dust and humidity away from your filament. Another small difference between these printers is how easy it is to align the print bed. On the i7, they have this lip here that runs the entire width of the bed and covers the entire print bed. So you simply line it in and lay it down. On the A1, anyone who's used these, they see there are these two tiny nubs on the left and right, and then two in the center. So you align it there, and it's really easy to misalign it. It's so easy to get it up on the nub there, and now the print bed isn't flat. You gotta realign it. And then I always double check it to make sure it's not slightly up on there. It's just a little bit annoying on this machine and super easy on this machine. But when it comes right down to the print quality and print speed, they're both very similar machines. So here we have the Benchy test for print quality. This was the Bambu Lab A1, this was the Creality i7. Both of these look near perfect. I think they've really solved print quality, and looking at both of these side by side, it's really hard to see many defects on either of these boats. Both of these are just incredible prints here. Really good on both of them, both at very similar times. So when it comes down to print speed and print quality, it's really nice that most printers nowadays are close to flawless. And other prints that I've done on the i7 all turn out really well. This prints all together as one piece, so it's important for all of these sections to print really well, but not touch. Big things in matte filament, carbon fiber filament, everything turns out really well on this printer. I love that even budget printers like these turn out nearly flawless prints. So here we have both slicers side by side, Bambu Lab slicer on the left, Creality slicer on the right. And I do think Creality Slicer is one of my favorite slicers out there. I think they just improve on the Orca slicer experience here. And one of my favorite features is how easy it is to change between printers. So here we're on the SparkX i7, but if I want to change over to the K2 Pro, I just select from that drop down, then automatically it changes the print bed, change our print profile over here, and change the filaments up here. This section here doesn't change, but you just press this one button, and now it's loaded the printer's filaments into the usable section right here. Over on Bambu Lab's side, here we're on the H2D, but I want to change to the A1. You have to go over to the Device tab, change printers to the A1. It connects to that printer, go back to the Prepare tab, switch to the A1, hit Sync Information, continue to sync filaments, and now we've synced the filaments down here. It's not that difficult, it's just a lot more steps when you're sending prints to a lot of different printers all at the same time. Both slicers have a lot of features for modifying the prints up on the top here. Creality Slicer has the print profile settings over on the right, while Bambu Lab has it over on the left. With both of them, you can right click, add primitive, and then we can add in a Benchy. We're going to print a Benchy on both of these printers using the standard 0.2mm profile. Slice and slice. Both of them give you a lot of really good information here of how long it's going to take. We can say print plate. Now it takes us over to the Device tab on both printers here. I do like that with Creality, it automatically opens up the print camera here. On Bambu Lab, you have to press play here. It initializes, it loads, and then we can see from the Bambu Lab webcam. It is a lot slower of a webcam over on the Bambu Lab side. One big benefit that I like on the Creality Slicer, you can press this button here, and it goes back to the Device tab. We can see all of the printers currently connected to the profile right now. K2 Plus, K2 Pro, this is one of the K1 models, and Creality High. You can see their print status and how much time they have left. Currently, these two are idle, these two are offline, this one is printing, and 45 minutes to go. Here on the Bambu Lab, you have to go manually in between printers. Going to the H2D, it connects, it loads, and we can see this print is 100% complete. It's just easier to manage a lot of printers all at the same time with the Creality Slicer. But if you only have one printer, I could see the Bambu Slicer being fine. Now to talk about the price between these printers, the Bambu A1 combo is $400 for the combo that comes with the AMS Lite, or $300 for just the standalone printer. Whereas the i7 is only $370 for the combo that comes with the CFS Lite, or it could be $260 for just the standalone printer. They also have the really interesting option of this 2-spool CFS Mini. They call it the autofill combo. It's only for single color printing here. You load the spool into the CFS Mini and it just automatically does the loading in for you, and it will do an auto resume. If one of your spools runs out, it'll resume with the second spool there. I haven't actually tested this one out myself, but it seems like a really great option if you are looking to save some money and you were thinking about buying the base printer here. Spending only $20 more adds a lot of functionality. I love the auto load of these systems. They don't claim that it can do multicolor printing, so I really don't think you're going to be able to do even 2-color printing on this, but just for the auto loading and auto filament refill. They also have this larger combo that comes with 4 spools of filament for still $5 cheaper than what the A1 combo is. And I do love these RFID spools. You load them in the CFS and the printer already knows which color and which filament you put into which slots. So the i7 does win by a little bit when it comes to price here. So when it comes to open source licensing and software, first off I want to say I'm not a lawyer and I don't want to pretend to be one on YouTube. There are a lot of people who've already made great videos explaining the issues around open source licensing with Bambu Lab, going after some open source software creators. It's a very complex legal topic, and I don't think there's one clear answer. I do wish they would be more transparent with open sourcing things, which is what I understand the open source license requires. So when it comes to the firmware of both of these printers, the Bambu A1 and all Bambu printers are running their own proprietary firmware, so it's not open source, and they don't release source files at all. So you really can't get in there and modify and customize things, but the printers print really well. Creality, on the other side, is running Clipper firmware on here, and they haven't yet released the full open source firmware, but they have released firmware for their other printers, all the K2 printers, the K1s, Creality High, and several other Clipper-based printers. They told me it does take a bit of work to get it ready to put on GitHub, and they are currently working on it. And with their previous track record, I think it's a good thing to do, but we should keep holding them to that standard. But in the meantime, you do still get root access on this printer. So you can go into the root menu, turn it on, and fully access Clipper. Then you can go to the config files and really change some settings in here, modify, add features, really change it around and make it your own. So while they both print really fast and really high quality, when it comes to the end user being able to modify and customize the printer in the future, Creality does give you a lot more abilities in that area, even if the SparkX i7 hasn't fully released their firmware yet. I am going to keep showing off printers from both of these brands on this channel because I am the reviewer showing you what's out there on the market. If you agree or disagree with one brand's philosophy, that's your own choice. But I think it would be unfair to the consumer if I didn't cover as many printers as possible to show you what's on the market. So overall, I really hope this video has shown off some of my favorite features on the i7 and how I really feel like they've taken the A1 design and improved in a lot of little ways. But anyway, that just about wraps things up. If you do want to learn more about the SparkX i7, I am doing a beginner printing series on shorts covering a lot of the basics of 3D printing, specifically how they relate on this machine. So you can subscribe if you're interested in watching those. I will have some affiliate links and coupon codes in the description down below to get you the lowest price on this machine. As always, go out there, create something amazing today, and I'll see you in the next video.